The bad guy eldest brother actually joined Master and the junior sisters in playing Truth or Dare. It turns out that Blaise Lin wanted to get some secrets out of him. He is known as the Gambler of the Qinglong sect of Immortality in the cultivation world. He is bound to make a big killing tonight. Just as he was about to search for his small junior sister Grace Gua, he was pulled aside by the third junior sister. She is 100% certain. The strange bird that hypnotized senior brother. Ghost Nightingale, the demon king on par with a cultivator in the nascent soul stage. And a demon beast of Ghost Nightingale's level simply could not appear in the sacred beast garden. The second junior sister looks tense. Are you saying that this Ghost Nightingale was tamed by the small junior sister and intentionally brought here? The second junior sister quickly denied this speculation. How could the naive and innocent small junior sister conspire against the eldest brother? Absolutely impossible. Just then, a familiar voice came from behind. The second and third junior sisters turned around in surprise. The person who appeared was none other than the long-awaited small junior sister Sakura Lu, who had been hiding in the bushes all along. She had heard every word of the three sisters' conversation clearly. Since eldest brother has actively concealed this matter, before finding an opportunity to escape with eldest brother, everything that happened tonight belongs solely to their unspoken secret. Later, small junior sister repeated what eldest brother had just said once again, in order to dispel the suspicions of the two junior sisters. After hearing this, Grace Gua and Fei Chu exchanged a glance and didn't say anything more. The second junior sister then approached Blaise Lin and asked how his recovery was going. Do you need Grace to carry you? The third junior sister on the side watched the two of them being so close. Naturally, she felt extremely uncomfortable. Eldest brother just confessed at the celebration. He admitted that he likes the second senior sister. It seems that our competition is now over, with the winner and loser clearly defined. Likewise, small junior sister's expression was somewhat unnatural. The four returned to the hot spring pool at Moonlight Cliff and were immediately questioned by Master. Small junior sister pitifully began a performance of self-pity. I'm sorry, Master. Sakura asked eldest brother to go with me to visit a spiritual beast baby that is about to die. Please do not blame eldest brother. Beauty Master has always been more lenient than strict. Seeing the little disciple looking pitiful, Master's tone instantly softened. Since that's the case, let's continue celebrating. Blaise Lin awkwardly said, Master, it's already so late. Are you still drinking? Serafina Zhao's eyes casually caught sight of the two disciples holding hands tightly. She felt a sudden pang of heartache for no apparent reason. To alleviate her unhappiness, she drank up the wine in her hand. Seeing the master drink so boldly, Blaise Lin then proposed that since Master Su and junior sister Zhu were also present, they might as well set up a game to play. He then took out the Heavenly Fate disc and started explaining it carefully to everyone. This object is called the Heavenly Fate disc. When the pointer hovers over it, the words it points to determine the outcome of winning or losing. If it points to a word, it means winning. If it points to no word, it means losing. In the early years, he did not hesitate to use the Heavenly Fate disc to deceive the junior brothers from other sects and cheat them of their spiritual stones. And has always been at odds with Blaise Lin, who has a bad temper. He took out this item because he wanted to play a new game with everyone. That is Truth or Dare. The way to play is to point to a worded item. If points to an item without words, then you must choose either Truth or Dare. Blaise Lin organized the game in order to extract some secrets from Master and junior sisters. And he, Blaise Lin, is a master at playing this Heavenly Fate disc. He is known as the cultivation world's Disc King Lin. The Qinglong sect of Immortality has a gambling event. Tonight, let's see how I, Blaise Lin, will handle them. It's here, it's here. The first Truth or Dare event of Celestial Yuan Peak has finally arrived. As expected, small junior sister really predicted future experiences, just as Blaise Lin expected. And Beauty Su, who chose the grand adventure, unexpectedly drew a paper with a kissing prediction. Just after listening to Blaise Lin's explanation, Miyasu expressed that she was too lazy to play such childish games. At this moment, Blaise Lin began to charm Beauty Sue. You should know that this game is quite a test of one's spiritual power control. It just so happens that we have 4 disciples. We will face your 2 disciples. Let's compete to see who gets punished less. Master Su, do you lack confidence like this? Miyasu gave Blaise Lin a teasing glance, which seemed to carry a hint of flirtatious charm, causing Blaise Lin to shiver. Miyasu then looked towards Aurelia Zhu, who asked if she wanted to participate. Aurelia Zhu was initially planning to refuse, but inexplicably nodded her head in agreement. Well, since you are interested, we'll accompany you to have some fun with Master Uncle Xiao and the others. After some preparations, the game officially begins. In order to demonstrate, Blaise Lin concentrates, holding his breath, forming hand seals, and then sends a spiritual thought towards the heavenly fate disc. Finally, it hovers in front of a scale with characters on an upward slant. Small junior sister instantly grasps the rules of the game and volunteers to go next. Blaise Lin feels a bit embarrassed. At this moment, he is unable to face this green tea small junior sister. Small junior sister aimed at the center of the heavenly fate disc. With a lifted hand, she released a spiritual strike. The pointer spun violently and hovered over the wordless spot. The beauty master placed her index finger by her lips and asked curiously, "So, Blaise, is Sakura going to choose between a big adventure in truth or dare next?" "Yes, Master Junior Sister Sakura, as I said before, it's your turn to choose between truth or dare." Small junior sister said she doesn't like adventures, so she chose truth. Blaise Lin takes a deep breath and gazes earnestly at small junior sister in front of him. If she lies, eldest brother, as the questioner, will face an uncertain fate in his later years. Seeing the seriousness of her beloved, small junior sister insists that she will never lie. Blaise Lin asked word by word, "Did Sakura ever successfully foresee experiences in the future at some point?" After hearing this, small junior sister's face tensed up. The master and senior sisters beside also had a slight change in expression. Eldest brother Sakura has had this experience. At this moment, Blaise Lin's heart is filled with mixed emotions. It turns out as expected. If she is not a reborn individual, then she must have obtained the supreme treasure of future sight by a fortuitous opportunity. The women who once did their best to stop me from completing the storyline won't escape tonight. But when it's Aurelia Zhu's turn next, Miyasu intercepted her as it's her turn. She indicated that she had already figured out the secret. She would first give a demonstration. Miyasu approached the heavenly fate disc. With delicate hands, she gently lifted it and sent a spiritual thought into the center of the disc. The pointer also began to rotate again at this moment. Senior Sister Sue's techniques are indeed superb. Her control over the spiritual energy is very strong. Just as the words fell, the pointer unexpectedly slid to "No word." In an instant, the whole room fell silent. Blaise Lin looked at her with an official expression and asked whether she chose truth or dare. Miyasu hesitated for a moment and ultimately chose dare. After all, she lived her whole life without constraints. Even a dare could be easily faced. Blaise Lin picked up a sandalwood box from the side. Inside the box were some notes, written by the junior sisters around them, documenting some interesting things. Miyasu casually took a piece of paper, only to find that what was written on it was about kissing a man present at the scene. Why is Master Marin so heartbroken and desperate? Because his own disciple was unexpectedly kissed on the cheek by Miyasu in front of everyone. Little did they know, the biggest winner in life is actually the green tea small junior sister. Just now Miyasu, who had just chosen to take a big risk, unexpectedly drew a kiss with a man present. Looking at the note in his hand, Blaise Lin was directly speechless. Which junior sister wrote this? There's only one man on the entire Divine One main peak. Doesn't this mean Master Su is going to go after him? His junior, then? Not to mention him. The junior sisters were equally puzzled and resentful. However, what Blaise Lin never expected was that Master Su in front of him would actually adjust his hair and walk towards him with a smile on his face. Mia Su said, as she appraised the handsome Blaise in front of her. She lifted Blaise Lin's chin with her pair of snow-white hands. As a grandmaster of the same lineage, I must set an example. A promise worth 1,000 pieces of gold. The second and third junior sister were about to step forward to block the way when the round table in front of them was overturned by the beautiful master. It's boring. This seat doesn't want to play anymore. Blaise, escort me back to the cave. It looks like the beautiful master is jealous. Who expected that Mia Su in front of her would suddenly lean in and plant a gentle kiss on Blaise Lin's cheek? In that moment, all the women present widened their eyes in shock. Eldest brother's first kiss was unexpectedly stolen in public. At this moment, Serafina Xiao was intoxicated, almost fainting. Mia Su, on the other hand, pursed her lips. Aurelia, did you see that? This is the spirit of the women of Phoenix Song Peak. Decisive and fearless. Aurelia Zhu's face blushed slightly, and her voice sounded a little hesitant. All right, Aurelia understands now. The second junior sister rushed forward in a quick step upon seeing this. Master Su, aren't you going too far? Blaise Lin quickly stepped forward to hold her back. Grace, junior sister, don't be startled. It's just a game. Keep calm. All right. It seems that the atmosphere tonight is no longer suitable for continuing the game. Aurelia will follow the master back to the mountain. At the moment of departure, Mia Su turned around. Her eyes passed over all the women and looked towards Blaise Lin. Blaise Lin felt a tingling sensation. This woman's gaze was too charming. Just like that. Under the gaze of the entire audience, Master Su from Phoenix Song Peak took his disciple and disappeared in a flash of light. On the side, Serafina Xiao finally came to her senses. She felt a surge of emotions in her heart, unbearable pain. Later, fueled by alcohol, she disregarded everything and rushed up. She snatched her beloved senior disciple from disciple Grace's hands, forcibly dragged Blaise Lin into a green light, and the sword light flew towards Maiden's Peak. The second and third junior sister looked towards the direction where the disappearing light fled, feeling endless sorrow in their hearts. At this moment, they were surprised to find that what they cared most about was not Master Su, but their own master. Only small junior sister sitting by the pond nearby knew clearly in her heart. She was the real winner in life. At this moment, inside Maiden's Peak Lotus Cave Mansion, the master in Maiden's Peak is feeling inexplicably uncomfortable. They even lack the strength to dissipate the intoxication. Blaise Lin, seeing the situation, dare not neglect it. He quickly went forward to take care of the drunken master. Master, drink a bowl of sobering soup before going back to sleep. Who would have thought that the beauty master would grab Blaise Lin's collar all of a sudden? She looked affectionately at her own disciple. The person that the bad guy eldest brother loves the most is still only the beauty master. He sneaks in to kiss her cheek after master falls asleep. And the relationship and plot changes for the two are all from Queen Alicia Yi. As the saying goes, today's fruit is the result of the seed sown yesterday. Just when the beauty master is slightly drunk, she actually grabbed Blaise Lin. She wanted him to feed her sobering soup like he used to when they were kids. He looked at Master's shy and cute little face. Blaise Lin liked it very much. Don't be fooled by Blaise Lin's usually carefree demeanor, but in terms of emotions, he is still a pure love warrior. In the end, reason triumphed over everything. He bound Master tightly directly. Next, like taking care of this beauty countless times in childhood, skillfully lifting up her exquisite face, half coaxing and half deceiving, feeding her sobering soup. Wait until he sees that she has completely finished drinking it. He also dispersed the mosquitoes and flies in the cave. After doing all this, Blaise Lin obediently sat back on the cushion by the bed, quietly watching the drunken master in front of him. In fact, this scene has occurred countless times since he started going up the mountain at the age of 8. Without exaggeration, every time Serafina Xiao gets drunk, her senior apprentice Blaise Lin acts like a personal nanny, taking care of her attentively. Whenever this happens, a deep affection always rises in his heart, because Master was the first person to treat him kindly when he arrived in this world. Even though Master has a perfect figure, he does not have the slightest impure thoughts. Blaise Lin understands very well that since a certain moment in time, a subtle change has occurred in his heart towards filial piety. However, his feelings towards Master are completely different from those towards the other 3 junior sisters. It is a pure love. If possible, Blaise Lin doesn't even mind if time stands still, just quietly watching Master, the beautiful woman, for 1,000 or 10,000 years. Blaise Lin's mouth carries a smile as he gently gazes at Master before him. Unconsciously, 14 years have already passed. He has grown into an adult in this lifetime. Yet, Master is still as stunning as when they first met. Blaise Lin couldn't help but reach out his finger, gently touching Master's nose. Unable to help but sigh, could it be that there is no woman in this world more beautiful than Master? Serafina Xiao slowly opened her eyes at this moment, but she was still in a semi-dream state. Blaise Lin said gently, "Master, you should behave well. Don't think about anything. Let sleepiness brew naturally." Perhaps intoxicated, Serafina Xiao suddenly seemed like a silly little girl and obediently nodded. Blaise must not leave. Just stay here and keep your teacher company obediently. Blaise Lin quickly agreed, holding Master's slender hand. At this moment, Serafina Xiao suddenly wanted to hear Blaise Lin tell the story of immortal cultivation from his hometown. Blaise Lin shook his head. "Master won't talk about immortal cultivation tonight. Let's chat about the past instead." Blaise Lin couldn't help but ask the question in his heart. 14 years ago, in the tavern in Peach Blossom Valley, how did Master notice me? It turns out that at that time, if Celestial One Peak no longer had a personal chief disciple to manage the situation, according to the ancestral teachings of Qinglan, it would be merged into other sections. So she went down the mountain for a visit and decided to take in Blaise Lin because she felt he had potential. Then Master found that my talent in the sword way was exceptional. So, he changed his mind and decided to personally nurture me to grow. Serafina Xiao, however, stated that it was not because Blaise Lin's talent in the sword way was strong enough that she accepted him as a personal disciple to nurture carefully. What really changed Serafina Xiao's mind was the courage that Blaise Lin showed when he single-handedly rescued a little girl from the siege of the Huaran people that day. Blaise Lin was extremely shocked. He did not expect that all the changes in the plot began with that little girl. It was because of this incident that the true Master had a special feeling towards him that did not exist in the original work. This is why Sword Intent was bestowed upon him. Various supports were provided, helping him defeat Ethan Yi today. It was the cause he planted yesterday. Blaise Lin's expression was moved. He was just about to say something. A series of heavy breathing sounds came to his ears. The originally exquisite and noble fairy Serafina. So even sleeping, she snores. Later, Blaise Lin secretly gave a kiss to the beauty master. Good night. Sweet dreams. Here it comes. The chosen bad one. Blaise Lin initiates the mythic celestial Dao step trial. The Saint of Music specially presents it. Talisman secretly helps Blaise Lin cheat. But she was politely rejected by Blaise Lin. But the rebellious Ethan Yi embraced his rebirth after losing an arm. Fallen, he worshipped Yuan Yi as his father. The bell of the Dao trembles. The true master of the sect has ordered the chief of this year's martial gathering to appear. Blaise Lin, chief disciple of Celestial One Peak, is immediately going to Mount Tai Song to pay respects to the great martial true lord. Grandmaster of Cloud Drift Peak is in the main hall. The rebellious youth, Ethan Yi, is complaining. Master, have you heard? That detestable Blaise Lin has actually gained the favor of the great martial true lord. I, Ethan Yi, was supposed to be the one to receive the inheritance of the great martial true lord. Yuan smiled and said, "If you can receive the cultivation of that great figure, then Blaise Lin is nothing." Ethan Ye's heart brightened at these words, thinking that the opportunity to avenge his previous shame was right in front of him. He gritted his teeth and immediately knelt down, saying, "Thank you for the master's referral. If the adult is willing to accept me as a disciple, I, Northern River King firstborn heir Ethan Ye, would like to acknowledge you as my godfather." On the other hand, Blaise Lin, who heard the news, is heavy-hearted. It seems that before the 8 major dark sects attack the mountain, the Sword Tomb dungeon is finally going to be opened. It looks like there might be a big mistake today. Blaise Lin came to the side of Master, who was asleep. He carefully placed the well-prepared sweet porridge of love next to him. When Master pays a visit to the great martial true lord's disciple, he will surely do his best and receive guidance from the elder. After Blaise Lin left, Luna Maiden suddenly appeared and woke up the pretending to sleep Seraphina Xiao. Luna Maiden glanced at the sweet porridge on the table. She didn't expect that Blaise Lin was actually a considerate guy. She finally understood why Seraphina Xiao was so affectionate towards Blaise Lin. She even joked that the two of them would be the best cultivation couple in the future. Beauty Master blushed at the words. "My family Blaise has always respected teachers and valued principles since childhood. Do not misinterpret his intentions." Luna Maiden seemed to smile ambiguously. "Our chief disciple Lin is truly respectful of teachers and principles. I don't know how many times he secretly kissed you." Seraphina Xiao suddenly became anxious and said she would teach Blaise well in the future after hearing this. Luna Maiden smiled even more mesmerizingly. Instantly understood. Seraphina Xiao's face showed a mix of shyness and anger, unable to hide her emotions. She reached out her arm, trying to send Luna Maiden back to the Sword Tomb. Luna Maiden realized the joke had gone too far and quickly explained to her to see clearly into her own heart. Isn't it so difficult to admit that she has fallen in love with Blaise Lin? You dominate the world in this lifetime without any scruples, crushing numerous proud beings. Are you still afraid to face your own heart? Seraphina Xiao also has mixed feelings in her heart. Although she has this intention, what identity should she use to compete with those teenage girls in the prime of their youth? Luna Maiden quickly stepped forward upon seeing this, her face filled with charm as she offered advice. Unexpectedly, the mighty being of the upper realm also acted as a matchmaker. Seraphina Xiao blushed and deliberately changed the subject. Let's quickly discuss our plan to completely plunder Ethan Ye's destiny in the Sword Tomb Mystic Realm next. At the same time, Blaise Lin has arrived at the foot of Mount Taitsong. Looking at the magnificent and ethereal holy land for cultivation, Blaise Lin couldn't help but sigh that Mount Taitsong is indeed as prestigious as described in the original work. I wonder how many steps he can take on the mythic celestial Dao step. In the original work, Ethan Ye, with the help of Elder Shi, stopped at the 360th step, ranking second in history. As for the first place, it is naturally held by the celestial Wan Peak. The sword weighs #1 figure in recent times. My beloved master, of course. Now, Blaise Lin is already the chosen bad one, with a different style than before. He must at least climb up 100 steps. At this moment, one of the 6 saints, Dantai Clear Voice, suddenly appeared in front of Blaise Lin. In the original storyline, she did not appear to guide Ethan Ye. At this moment, Dantai Clear Voice took the initiative to walk over and hand Blaise Lin a talisman. Blaise Lin didn't expect this music saint to secretly help him cheat. After thinking it over, the only possibility he could come up with was that the third junior sister had asked the Saint of Music to help him. At this point, Blaise Lin's fighting spirit was high. He rejected the kindness of the Saint of Music and expressed his desire to rely on his own efforts. He went straight past him and stepped onto the first level of the Tao step with the goal of meeting the great martial true lord. At this moment, a terrifying roar of a beast resounded through the sky. A massive demon beast, exuding a fierce and terrifying aura, burning with raging flames, descended from the sky, baring its fangs and claws. Blaise Lin looked joyful at the scene. Holding the long sword Dreamcloud Marsh, he greeted the oncoming battle. Here it comes. The experienced treasure trove has arrived. Do you really need a reason to love someone? Actually, both loving and not loving do not need a reason. The most fatal thing is to find yourself falling in love with someone you used to despise. One day you will find the answer you are looking for. Just now, Blaise Lin refused the kind offer from Saint of Music. He started his journey up the steps with a long sword in hand. He faced the enormous demon beast burning with fierce red flames all over its body. Blaise Lin intended to use the ice law from the 5-element sword intent, combined with the great 5-element destroyer sword. However, he has only absorbed Ethan Ye's ice law from the 5-element sword intent for now. He still doesn't know how to use the great 5-element destroyer sword, so Blaise Lin plans to switch to another sword technique. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration. He thought of the beautiful and powerful sword technique of the master of the beauty and graceful sword. Blaise Lin's eyes shone brightly, the palm of his hand gripping the sword. The ice sword intent catalyzed to the extreme. He fiercely swung his sword horizontally towards the approaching Crimson Blaze June and I. Freeze everything. Scarlet Ice Wheel. The mighty sword energy instantly extinguished the flames of Crimson Blaze June and I. He was frozen into a skillfully crafted natural ice sculpture. Danhai's clear voice couldn't help but sigh. This child indeed possesses Kiran's talent in the sword way. No wonder Phalith is so infatuated with him, this eldest brother. At the peak of Mount Taisong, the great martial true lord sat cross-legged on the towering Taoist platform. The other 4 saints were also greatly shocked by Blaise Lin's strength just now. In one go, he charged up 100 levels of Tao's step and froze Crimson Blaze June and I with a sword intent imbued with laws. Remember, even Seraphina Shao took step by step to reach the final stage. It's absolutely impossible. Just as the audience was debating, Great Martial True Lord spoke up. Instead of belittling others, it's better to improve oneself. A young man who defeated the 5-element sword intent at the 5 Peaks Martial Gathering. His potential is probably beyond your imagination. Then he raised his hand high on the platform and gestured. Let's take a look together. The crowd all turned to look. I saw Blaise Lin with one hand behind his back, and the other hand holding a jar of wine, walking briskly. At the same time, he was drinking heartily. With each step he took, his figure was elegant and graceful. He appears carefree and unrestrained, staggering like a drunkard. In fact, it's all a mysterious and exquisite calculation of footwork. This person is truly terrifying. They must be cultivated decisively. Great Martial True Lord looked excited. After hundreds of years, he showed a joyful smile for the first time. This person is no less than his master. Give the Qinglan spell sword to him. He will surely be able to carry it forward. And next is the mysterious test that even Seraphina Shao was stopped for. Blaise Lin continues to leisurely move forward at this moment. He himself did not expect to receive help in Intoxicated Immortal's moonlit stroll. Unexpectedly, he easily climbed to the 379th level. It's just one step away from breaking Master's record in beating the beauty. According to the post-event memories of the beauty master, this one step was infused with the great martial true lord's power 1,000 years ago. Due to the long-standing feud between the two families, the cultivation couple met a tragic death. The great sorrow's roar sword intent within this step can directly impact divine consciousness, causing a person to collapse. Back then, the master was inadvertently invaded by this sword intent into their divine consciousness, experiencing the sorrow and despair of the great martial true lord. As a result, their Tao heart temporarily collapsed, halting their progress at that moment. But now, being played by Blaise Lin is the one who seizes everything, swallowing the world's destiny and proclaiming, I alone am supreme, as the chosen bad one. Celestial Tao cannot stop him. So how can his sword intent, filled with the sorrows of lost love, intimidate me, the chosen bad one? Subsequently, Blaise Lin resolutely stepped onto the final step. At the moment he stepped onto the step, a sword energy entered Blaise Lin's consciousness. See, in this spiritual mystic realm that is like a sea of love and hatred, Blaise Lin saw the great martial true lord and his lover. They met, fell in love, and eventually bid farewell. Love lost eternally. All around were ruins and devastation. For her, I am willing to defy the heavens with my sword. Later that day, the sentimental man in the mundane world perished. In his place rose the dominant Qinglan sect of immortality in the East Realm cultivation world for nearly 1,000 years. After witnessing all the scenes, even Blaise Lin, a tough straight man, couldn't help but be touched. Just as he was gradually coming to his senses, the man in the picture suddenly turned to him outside the camera and asked a question. Did I really do something wrong? Should I not have fallen in love with her from the beginning? Blaise Lin was momentarily at a loss, but he was not thwarted, being the most passionate figure in the immortal cultivation world. So he countered the man with a classic quote. Do you need a reason to love someone? The man remained silent for a long time. A smile of relief appeared at the corner of the man's mouth. He finally got the answer he wanted. The chosen bad one. Blaise Lin stood atop Tai Tsung, holding the Qinglan spell sword. Great martial true lord personally imparted the true interpretation of the sword way to Blaise Lin. Since then, Qinglan sect of immortality has become the most outstanding in the present age. The sword way prodigy, Blaise Lin, is unrivaled. If the heavens did not give birth to me, Blaise Lin, the sword way would be everlasting darkness throughout eternity. Just now, Blaise Lin completed the celestial Tao step trial and reached the summit of Mount Tai Tsung, breaking the highest record of his master, Seraphina Xiao. At this moment, the Saint of Pen among the 6 saints suddenly asked the great martial true lord, what kind of sword intent was infused into the first layer of the Tao step that even Grandmaster Xiao couldn't decrypt? The great martial true lord awkwardly smiled and replied, It's been too long. I have also forgotten. Just then, a clear and melodious voice rang out. Disciple Blaise Lin pays respect to the 6 saints, true master of the sect, and all the elders. Upon hearing this voice, the hearts of everyone present skipped a beat, and they all turned to look at this remarkable junior. The crowd couldn't help but feel amazed to discover that he was not only a peerless genius, but also a handsome young master from the immortal cultivation sect. At this moment, the great martial true lord's whole body is emitting a dazzling golden light, while his eyes are fixed on Blaise Lin in the audience. The great martial true lord spoke slowly. Blaise Lin, as I look at you now, I see my younger self. It is up to you, this extraordinary talent in the sword way, to inherit the Qinglan spell sword and guard our cultivation sect. With this said, the hearts of all the elders in the audience trembled. You should know that the Qinglan spell sword is one of the Patriarch's 3 great supreme treasures. According to the Patriarch's teachings, whoever holds this item should be the most outstanding genius of the sword way in the current generation of the Qinglan sect of immortality. With the power of this sword, one can single-handedly activate the terrifying 6 realms of Samsara Mountain, protecting great formation to resist the great calamity of the cultivation sect. Blaise Lin did not rush to agree, but instead wanted to see the majestic manifestation of the Qinglan spell sword before making a decision. The whole crowd was amazed. They all accused Blaise Lin of being too arrogant and conceited. The sect leader quickly used a secret technique to transmit a message, reminding Blaise Lin that the great martial true lord holds a high position in the cultivation sect. His words are not to be contradicted even by me. You should quickly go and thank him. Don't create any more problems. Blaise Lin remained neither humble nor arrogant, bowing respectfully towards the great martial true lord and requesting him to demonstrate his sword skills first. The great martial true lord not only did not show any anger, but instead chuckled heartily. After all, Blaise Lin resembled him so much when he was young. With that, he raised his palm in the air, forming a magnificent seal. Since you have made this request, I will now show you the prowess of our highest spell sword techniques. The next moment, the sword tomb near Coiled Dragon Abyss appeared. After continuous rotations, it finally arrived at the third floor from the first floor of the sword tomb. In the center of the stone chamber, there is a painting of an ancient and sacred sword emitting a divine aura. But as the camera zooms in, when the sword painting is opened, it is found to be empty inside. The great martial true lord is left speechless, wondering about my Qinglong spell sword. Blaise Lin sighed heavily, wondering if this is what the sword saint is looking for. Blaise Lin was seen holding a dark green sword engraved with powerful runes, exuding a majestic aura. The sacred Qinglong spell sword now in Blaise Lin's hands, as he has decided to stay behind to defend the cultivation sect against the impending invasion by the dark sect. He feels it is necessary to learn from his fellow disciple, Yuanjiang. He temporarily considers everyone present as part of his own group, opening his heart and being completely honest, moving forward and retreating together. Watching the Qinglong spell sword, passed down for 1,000 years, shining brightly once again, the elders present are once again shocked by its brilliance. Blaise casually drew out our sect's supreme treasure, facing the pressure from all the grand elders in the audience. He remained calm and composed. What kind of ancient demon is this child really? At this time, the great martial true lord spoke up. He wanted to have a private conversation with Blaise Lin. In an instant, the entire scene, including the other 5 saints, turned into streaks of escaping light and departed. Great martial true lord came to Blaise Lin's front, and inquired about where the Qinglong spell sword in Blaise Lin's hand came from. He asked if it was obtained by your master breaking into the sword tomb, and then handed to you. Blaise Lin sincerely expressed, "Please believe me, true lord. This matter has nothing to do with my master. You may not believe it when I say it, but one day, as I blinked my eyes, the Qinglong spell sword appeared in my purple mansion." Great martial true lord, seeing this, no longer said much. "If you are willing to openly bring out this item, how could I suspect your intentions towards me, a child?" He then asked Blaise Lin if he had played chess before. Blaise Lin replied that he hadn't played before, but he knew the rules. The next second, the great martial true lord in front suddenly waved his sleeve. The two of them instantly found themselves in an endless expanse of starry sky. Can you comprehend the true meaning of my sword way before I die? It all depends on your talent and fate. Eldest brother finally picked it up. An essential cheat for a time traveler. Qinglong sect of immortality will be guarded by me. Blaise Lin has also become the eternal god in Master Junior Sister's heart. And he also learned it from the great martial true lord. The beauty answered with only 2 words at the final stage. Have an illness. Just now, the great martial true lord waved his sleeve. He brought Blaise Lin to an endless starry sky and began to enlighten him. And this chessboard is transformed by the sword intent of the great martial true lord. Each chess piece corresponds to a strand that integrates into the origin of the great martial true lord and the profound and extensive true interpretation of the sword way. The sword way path is separate from the cultivation level of magical power. It emphasizes the concept of enlightenment. How much one can comprehend depends entirely on Blaise Lin's talent and destiny. In the original work, with the support of Elder Shi, Ethan Yi comprehended nearly half of the true understanding of the great martial true lord sword way. From then on, he soared to success and became the #1 young sword cultivator in the East Realm cultivation world. Initially, when the beauty master used the celestial wand sword to stab him, it seemed like sword intent was being transmitted. However, from Blaise Lin's current perspective of sword way, it is clear that sword intent could not have been transmitted at all. The beauty master merely demonstrated some profound sword techniques to Blaise Lin, and everything else was understood through his own enlightenment. In other words, Blaise Lin's aptitude in sword way is slightly better than Aurelia Zhu's. Blaise Lin then sat cross-legged and started the game. Only to see him with a single thought, a black piece just landed. Blaise Lin then felt a sudden realization. He saw that the power of destiny on him was even more majestic. Blaise Lin exclaimed in amazement. He could feel that since becoming the chosen bad one, His comprehension had become even more extraordinary. Could it be that his understanding ability had automatically improved? He endured the salted fish system, receiving the blessing of the chosen bad one fate. Indeed, there was sweetness after the bitterness. Blaise Lin calmed his emotions, and continued to play against the great martial true lord. Countless true interpretations of swordway bloomed in Blaise Lin's consciousness. He actually comprehended all the supreme arts of the great martial true lord. His innate sacred abilities and the original swordway were both understood. The great martial true lord couldn't help but sigh at the sight. In just a moment, he grasped the lifelong insights of his swordway. Blaise Lin's destiny is truly dominant and terrifying. It's as if all things in the world must give way to him. As the great martial true lord spoke, his figure became increasingly distant, as if drifting towards the boundless end of the universe. The great martial true lord is also very grateful to Blaise Lin for helping him resolve the knot in his heart that has lasted for 1,000 years. He spent 1,000 years without being seen through by Blaise Lin. Love is love. What other reasons are needed? What is there to regret? The cultivation of truth has always been about cultivating one's inner self. If one deliberately severs emotions and feelings, they will fall into self-entrapment and make it difficult to achieve great results. Blaise Lin was curious and asked the great martial true lord how his master responded at the final stage back then. The great martial true lord gave a bitter smile and disdainfully said 2 words to me. Have issues. Blaise Lin is speechless. Indeed, it's you, master. And great martial true lord has one final question. And that is about Blaise Lin's insights on love between men and women. He must have someone he likes. Blaise Lin declared loudly with an honest face. Of course, I have women I like. And a damn lot of them. The aura of great martial true lord has completely disappeared. Blaise Lin looked at the starry sky and swore to himself. In the future, Qinglan's sect of immortality will be guarded by me, Blaise Lin. And he will never be as rebellious as that brat, Ethan Yi, who just drags his feet for his own showing off. Next, he will seize the initiative, smother Yuan Yi's conspiracy in its cradle, and prevent anyone in Qinglan's sect of immortality from being harmed. The right path prospers greatly, starting from me today. Compared to going to Sword Tomb to forge the life celestial sword, Blaise Lin most wants to know. This the chosen bad one's life sword immortal, what is it exactly? Just then Blaise Lin remembered he forgot. There's no way to rely on great martial true lord to lift the sword world. He has to rely on himself. It's a good opportunity to test his current swordway strength. Blaise Lin drew his long sword. Condensing his sword intent, he thrust towards the weakest point of the sword world. Following the direction of Blaise Lin's sword, the boundless righteous sword chi completely tore apart the sword world, transforming into a sword energy dragon soaring directly into the sky. At the same time, in front of the Lotus Cave mansion, the beautiful master was as happy as a young girl. My family's Blaise has passed the test and received the inheritance of the old man's righteous sword chi. My family's disciple truly has the demeanor of an emperor. The 3 junior sisters were also happy and cheered with joy. Unanimously, they shouted out, Eldest brother, the eternal god. Queen Alicia Yi leads 800,000 riders and directs them towards Qinglan. I would like to see how you will face Ethan Yi. It turns out that Alicia Yi has long awakened the celestial down memory in her heart. Ethan Yi is not even worthy to give shoes to Blaise Lin. At this moment, Ethan Yi was taken to Coiled Dragon Abyss, one of the 3 forbidden places of the Qinglan sect by the Taoist Yuan Yi. Ethan Yi completely lost. Is that gentleman living here? Yuan Yi sighed lightly. Using the term, living here, might not be appropriate. He was originally the number 1 figure in the Central Plains cultivation world. Unfortunately, he fell in love with a saintess from a righteous sect, was deceived by her, and ultimately defeated by the combined forces of the 4 major righteous sects. Ethan Yi felt uneasy. He saw many experts directly under the jurisdiction of Mount Tide Song's Demon Suppression Hall steward around him. Are we really going to barge in like this? Yuan Yi ignored him. because half of these demon suppression hall stewards were recommended by Yuan Yi to the elders, and the other half have also been somewhat favored by him. Yuan Yi cheerfully expressed that recently he had noticed some changes in the underground dark aura of the Qinglan area. That's why he specifically came to Coiled Dragon Abyss to take a look. Steward Wu, who is responsible for guarding this place, looked hesitant. It turns out that the true master of the sect has ordered that without the Dragon Head Peak sect leader token, no one is allowed to enter this place. Yuan Yi's expression changed. Steward Wu, don't forget. It was who helped you rise to the position of the Demon Suppression Hall's chief steward. Don't forget that you were once my disciple personally accepted by me. In the end, Gang Wu clenched his teeth and stepped aside. Let's go, Ethan Yi, disciple, go meet that master. Embrace your new life. Ethan Yi took a deep breath and looked towards the top of the pagoda. A real man knows how to adapt. Instead of bowing to Yuan Yi, this bald guy, it's better to worship someone more ruthless. Then he immediately knelt down to show his loyalty. The child, Ethan Yi, is willing to honor Lord Blood Demon as his adoptive father. Heavenly Blood Demon revealed a sly smile at the corner of his mouth. This kid, Yuan Yi, from the celestial realm, really didn't disappoint me with his pure golden destiny. With such a chosen one as my right-hand man, I, Heavenly Blood Demon, will surely rise again. Let this realm be turned into an endless blood purgatory. At the same time, at the border between the Central Continent's East Realm and the Northern Territory, Queen Alicia Yi is leading 800,000 troops. The Northern Cavalry is swiftly heading towards the Qinglan sect of Immortality. Just then, a military officer reported that the Five Peaks martial gathering has ended. The firstborn heir has had his arm cut off and is seriously injured. At this moment, he dared not meet the gaze of Her Majesty, the Queen, fearing that she would unleash her blazing wrath upon him. Who would have expected that Her Highness the Queen just frowned slightly, inquiring curiously about who injured Ethan Yi. Everyone looked at each other, all looking astonished. Her tone was nothing like asking about her own brother, but more like casually inquiring about a stranger's news out of curiosity. The general replied cautiously. It was a fraud named Blaise Lin who injured the firstborn heir. This scoundrel Blaise Lin is the chief disciple under Celestial One Peak Seraphina Shao, who is usually arrogant and does all kinds of evil deeds. The lofty northern queen instantly pursed her red lips. She didn't expect that Brother Shao would actually be in the script. The one who had always been at odds with Ethan Yi, Blaise Lin, and Brother Shao did not end up being forced into a corner by that scum Ethan Yi. Instead, he turned the tables and changed his own destiny with a brilliant counterattack. In an instant, Alicia Yi was overjoyed and in tears. Holding her face in her hands, her emotions were somewhat hard to control. Just now, that general took the lead in expressing his stance when he saw the situation. Damn it, that Blaise Lin, that damn fraud, dared to harm my family's firstborn heir. Don't let me, old Chun, catch you, otherwise I will definitely skin you alive. Before the words fell, a terrifying golden rainbow flew over, piercing through the chest. The one who made the move is this northern queen, full of foul language. She deserves to die. How fast can you get there tonight? A staff member quickly replied. In another 2 hours, our team will be able to reach Beacon Smoke City, a small border town in the East Realm. This place does not belong to any secular power. Both the righteous and demonic paths converge here. Alicia Yi recalled that, according to the script in her mind, this small town would be captured by the Evil Extremity sect and used as their stronghold. In order to protect Brother Shao, she decided to first clear out this city, and then find an opportunity to bring Blaise Lin over. She then handed a letter to the guard next to her. The letter was to be delivered to Blaise Lin at the Qinglan sect of Immortality, Celestial One Peak. It was emphasized that only he should receive it, and nobody else should lay a finger on this letter. The generals couldn't help but feel emotional. Queen, your majesty still can't let go of the firstborn heir after all. Alicia Yi looked at the half-butterfly jade pendant in her hand. Brother Shao, do you still keep the jade pendant that Alicia gave you back then? Even if she didn't know Ethan Ye's ugly face from the script, he is still far less important to Alicia than you are in her heart. It turns out that when she was a child, she was abducted by Yuan Jiang. Ethan Yi, this scumbag, actually turned a blind eye to her escape just to save himself. I want to see how you will face the 800,000 Beichuan army that I lead to Qinglan this time, Ethan Yi. The bad guy senior brother has obtained all the inheritance of great martial true lord. To celebrate eldest brother's great feat, junior sisters all greeted with smiles. They must celebrate with Blaise Lin properly. At this moment, Yuan Jiang at Dragon Head Peak Cliff of Enlightenment is practicing swordsmanship with a Bagua refined steel sword by the cliff. Junior brother Zheng Su suddenly appears at this moment. Yuan Jiang actually already knew junior brother's intention, so he asked him to relay the message to Master Sword Tomb that he would not go to the trial. Let's leave the opportunity to the junior brothers and sisters. Zheng Su looked surprised. I haven't said anything yet. Could it be that senior brother can read minds? Yuan Jiang looked solemnly towards Mountain Tide Song in the western sky, indicating that he had just seen the soaring righteous sword chi straight up to the sky. This indicates that junior brother Lin from Celestial Wan Peak has gained the recognition of the great martial true lord and has discovered the hiding place of the Qinglan spell sword. So why should he bother to compete? According to the 300,000 word plot from the previous life, in 15 days, it will be the day when Heavenly Blood Demon is unsealed. He must quickly master that move to perish together with Heavenly Blood Demon, putting an end to all calamities for the sect. On the side, Zheng Su couldn't help but ask senior brother Yuan Jiang why he has been melancholic for these years. The only time he showed a smile was when Blaise Lin defeated Ethan Yi. Yuan Jiang looked coldly at his junior brother and agreed to senior brother's request. After I am gone, do your best to take care of our sect's disciples and our master. How far away is Ethan Yi of Cloud Drift Peak? Just how far away from him? Blaise Lin from Sword World is extremely happy to leave. The feeling of becoming stronger is just awesome. Now he has obtained all the heritage of the great martial true lord. Ethan Yi, this chosen one, is like a little brother to him in his eyes. He looks at so many system rewards. Blaise Lin just wants to know when he can directly wipe out that scum Ethan Yi. The system prompts that currently Blaise Lin's destiny is still at the highest golden level. He needs to find ways to constantly squeeze and plunder Ethan Yi's destiny until it drops below a certain level. Then he can easily eliminate him. And Ethan Yi's opportunity within the Qinglan sect of Immortality mainly consists of the beautiful master and junior sisters. In the middle stage, it includes a series of fairies such as Northern Queen Alicia Yi and Great Zhou Dynasty Empress. Just as Blaise Lin had just stepped down the stairs, the junior sisters rushed up and threw themselves into his arms. The three junior sisters beamed with smiles. They congratulated eldest brother on inheriting the legacy of the great martial true lord. The second junior sister gave a warning look. Small junior sister then obediently stepped back to the side. The second junior sister then said she wanted to celebrate properly for Blaise Lin. Blaise Lin gladly agreed. It just so happens that I am also hungry. Let's go together. Soon, a few people flew to Wild Goose Pavilion on their swords. The second junior sister plans to personally cook for eldest brother, and the junior sisters to let them taste her cooking skills. Upon hearing this, the third junior sister quickly responded. In that case, senior sister, you should go ahead and be busy. I will stay here to accompany eldest brother. The second junior sister saw through her little trick at a glance. She grabbed the third junior sister's hand and asked her to help. In the end, only Blaise Lin and small junior sister were left sitting awkwardly in place. At this time, Blaise Lin spoke up, saying that he didn't remember anything from the celebration banquet that night. Small junior sister burst into tears instantly upon hearing this. Eldest brother, are you blaming Sakura? Will you end up hating her because of this? I have to say, small junior sister's acting skills are truly top-notch. Blaise Lin ultimately chose to forgive the pitiful small junior sister. Small junior sister instantly lit up with joy. I knew eldest brother cares for Sakura the most. Just then, the second and third junior sister appeared from the other side, walking over with delicious dishes, smiling contentedly. Who would have expected Blaise Lin to blush and keep silent? What exactly happened to eldest brother? The 5 peerlessly beautiful women of the Qinglan sect of Immortality gathered together. Eldest brother was dazzled by the sight of their jade-like feet, and almost started to bleed from his nose. Blaise Lin never expected that this would be so dreamlike. This place is simply a paradise on earth. Just now, the second and third junior sisters were carrying delicious dishes. They were smiling and walking towards us. But Blaise Lin was with the small junior sister on the side, flirting and getting physical. The small junior sister passed a message to Blaise Lin, wanting him to accompany her to the restroom. Blaise Lin quickly refused. The eldest brother still wants to taste the delicious dishes on the table. Who would have expected small junior sister to threaten Blaise Lin? Eldest brother also doesn't want the 2 senior sisters to know about what happened at the Sacred Beast Garden that day. Right? Blaise Lin was taken aback. Why does this sound so familiar and serious? Sakura, please calm down a bit, okay? Blaise Lin, feeling helpless, gritted his teeth. He ultimately chose to compromise. Hey Sakura. The aquatic spiritual beast guide you mentioned last time. Eldest brother has found it for you, and placed it on the 3rd floor. Go with eldest brother to get it. Watching the 2 of them holding hands as they walked up the stairs. The second and third junior sister had smiles on their faces. Just feeling infinitely warm. Our eldest brother is as caring and gentle as ever. The following scenes were too exciting, so I decided to watch them by myself. At this moment, small junior sister's face is full of Yandere expression. Isn't eldest brother the best, Sakura? Blaise Lin pushed her aside, saying, You have become like this now. I am also responsible for eldest brother. From now on, I will guide you well. I hope today's events end here. From now on, no matter how you threaten me, I cannot indulge you anymore. Green Tea's small junior sister's eyes welled up with tears instantly. It was a familiar trick. She tried hard to explain today's helplessness, asking why eldest brother openly admitted liking the second senior sister, but was unwilling to like Sakura. She threw herself into eldest brother's arms as she spoke. Her tears even moistened Blaise Lin's robes. Blaise Lin, who had a sharp tongue but a tender heart, chose to forgive her. There was nothing to do. After all, someone was just too easy to be swayed by this approach. Just as Blaise Lin was coming down from upstairs with Sakura Lu, he was stunned by the scene before him. Only to see a grand banquet table. In addition to the second and third junior sister, there were 2 more stunning figures. Blaise Lin never expected that Master and Master Su, beautiful women, had also arrived. Master coming is one thing. But what's the deal with Master Su? Miyasu could only look at Blaise Lin affectionately, leaving Blaise Lin feeling a bit at a loss. Serafina Xiao quickly asked them to sit down. It turns out that Miyasu's visit this time is for the upcoming Sword Tomb trial. Blaise Lin is well aware that he may not be able to avoid the Sword Tomb Mystic Realm this time. The key point is that there are only 15 days left until the Blood Demon breaks free from its seal. This Sword Tomb trial will delay him for at least 2 days. He also wants to spend more time preparing to resist the attacks from the 8 major dark sects. Blaise Lin was seen sitting on the right side of Miyasu. Serafina Xiao became anxious in an instant, looking shy. Blaise, as the chief disciple personally appointed by me, you should sit next to me, she said. At this moment, Blaise Lin and Serafina Xiao are sitting together in the main seats. A glimpse of them gives a feeling of being the head of the family. Blaise Lin's joy in his heart is beyond words. It feels like dining with 5 stunningly beautiful women. It's too dreamy, isn't it? This place is simply like paradise on earth. Blaise Lin banged his head against the table in order to wake himself up. Master Junior Sisters, don't worry. I just have a little confusion in my mind. This can help clear my mind. Then he cleared his throat with a sip from the teacup. Do Master and Uncle Master have any specific guidance regarding the next Sword Tomb trial? As soon as the words fell, Miyasu on the side became curious. Looking at Sakura Lu's face, she asked, "What is this?" The beautiful master unexpectedly visited late at night and confessed her true feelings to her own disciple. It's because Blaise Lin is going to the Sword Tomb Mystic Realm tomorrow. Serafina Shao knows well that the journey ahead is extremely dangerous. So, she came specifically to confess her feelings to Blaise Lin. Just moments ago, Miyasu noticed that small junior sister seemed to have something on her lips. Blaise Lin quickly explained that it was honey, a gift sent by a messenger on behalf of Crimson Cloud Uncle Master to celebrate his victory at this martial gathering. Knowing that small junior sister has a sweet tooth, he let her have a taste first. At this moment, small junior sister has a happy expression on her face. It is indeed eldest brother who personally gave the honey to Sakura. Miyasu pondered silently with a pensive expression. Since childhood, she has studied various classics. Naturally, she felt that this item was quite unusual and not honey. So she took a little from Sakura Lu's mouth and tasted it. It was indeed a delightful honey. The second and third junior sister on the side saw it all. Naturally, they felt extremely bitter in their hearts. Indeed, eldest brother still spoils small junior sister the most. At this moment, the beautiful master suddenly stood up. She came to small junior sister's side, and then used her fingers to take some from the corner of her lips. Blaise Lin wanted to stop it, but unfortunately, it was too late. This honey tastes a bit strange. However, overall the taste is not bad. Serafina Shao coldly swept towards Blaise Lin on the side. Blaise knows that you cherish your junior sister, but if there are such delicious foods in the future, make sure to send them to Maiden's Peak first for the master to taste. Blaise Lin is speechless. Is it really okay for you all to do this? Afterwards, the group continued to discuss the matter of the Sword Tomb. Blaise Lin knows very well that the Sword Tomb in the Mystic Realm opens automatically every 8 years. It contains countless treasures and artifacts, but its main function is to allow promising sword cultivator disciples to forge their own life-bound celestial sword. Originally, Blaise Lin and several chief disciples were supposed to lead their inner circle disciples to go and forge swords. However, the true master of the sect suddenly decided that the opening of the Sword Tomb would be set for tomorrow. Blaise Lin was taken aback. Is it really so urgent? Miyasu revealed this information. Sheng has personally made a statement, requesting each sect to select the most elite disciples. Inner sect disciples are urged to go to the Sword Tomb as soon as possible to forge their life-bound celestial sword to enhance their combat power. In fact, the memories of the celestial Tao in Miyasu's mind became extremely vague after the Sword Tomb Mystic Realm and the Five Peaks martial gathering events. Many details have become blurry. She only knows that the Qinglong sect of Immortality suffered a disaster because Ethan Yu was wandering around, but she doesn't know exactly what this disaster refers to. Serafina Shao looked somewhat sad. The trials in the Sword Tomb are extremely dangerous. Although according to the rules of the sect, each disciple should make their own choices after entering, there are actually some overlaps to some extent. So she and Miyasu plan to pair up Blaise Lin and Aurelia Zhu from Phoenix Song Peak to lead their juniors and junior sisters to successfully pass through the Sword Tomb and forge a spiritual sword. Upon hearing this, Blaise Lin couldn't help but be shocked. Why does he feel like he has turned into Ethan Yi? Miyasu beside her noticed that Blaise Lin still didn't agree, and she felt a little unhappy. But she looked down on my family's disciple for not being strong enough. Before Blaise Lin could respond, the second junior sister on the side stood up and declared that she and eldest brother would team up for the Sword Tomb trial the next day, and there was no need to join forces with outsiders. Blaise Lin quickly intervened to defuse the situation. Before he could say anything, the beautiful master ordered Blaise Lin to gather at the entrance of the Sword Tomb early the next morning and to join forces with Aurelia Zhu. Reluctant Blaise Lin could only awkwardly agree. Tomorrow, at the Sword Tomb, join forces with others. Blaise Lin, who returned to the room, took 3 cold showers in a row. Only then did he slowly walk out. But there was still a lingering sweet smell on him. Just then, a knocking sound came from outside the door. Is it Caleb? But Caleb is still lying in the profound heaven ice coffin. After Blaise Lin released his divine sense, he couldn't sense the other party's breath at all. Blaise Lin was surprised. Either the other party has cultivated a secret technique that conceals their breath, or the other party's cultivation level is so profound that he cannot penetrate the barriers of their divine consciousness. Blaise Lin gritted his teeth and approached the door. Holding Dreamcloud Marsh, he asked coldly, "Who goes there?" When he heard the name Seraphina Xiao, Blaise Lin's face changed in an instant as he quickly opened the door. Only to see the beauty master, dressed in a long green dress. Her beautiful eyes gazed softly at him. "What's wrong? Master's expression tonight doesn't seem quite right." Eldest brother's beloved person from beginning to end. Still, only the beauty master. And master is always silently giving to Blaise Lin all the time. But just as the atmosphere between the two of them reached its peak, master looked at Blaise's handsome face. Master still shyly pushed Blaise Lin away. "Master, you are really too cute." Just now, Seraphina Xiao specifically came to visit Blaise Lin in the middle of the night, which is also the first time Blaise Lin has been on the mountain for so long. She came to Blaise Lin's place for the first time. Then she went straight to sit on Blaise Lin's bed. Blaise Lin is completely lost about what happened to Master today. It's not like her at all. There might be something wrong. Seraphina Xiao's face flushed with a hint of anger. "Your master lives closer to your home. You naughty boy. Are you disgusted with me?" Blaise Lin had to sit down as told. Right at this moment, the master standing next to you subtly expressed, "In broad daylight today, did the master scold you at the Wild Goose Pavilion?" Upon hearing that the other party was still holding on to this matter, Blaise Lin was somewhat confused. It is appropriate for the master to be strict with the disciple. Seraphina Xiao also told Blaise Lin at this moment why he must go to the Sword Tomb. She explained that she used a divination immortal technique of a supreme rank to see the future that should have happened. Under the route designed by her for Blaise Lin has reversed the original wheel of fate. He turned the tables on the chosen one Ethan Yi, who should have trampled over you, and instead, he struck Ethan Yi down into the deep abyss. This is the achievement of Master, but it also cannot be separated from your own efforts. Blaise Lin's heart is filled with waves of shock and amazement. Indeed, Master has also foreseen the future. Seraphina Xiao still has some concerns. Even with the blessing of that divine magic, she still cannot see through the future development. That's why she is so afraid. Blaise Lin also looks very distressed. "Master, what are you afraid of?" Seraphina Xiao is actually afraid that Blaise Lin is only temporary. Once he deviates from his original path, he will repeat the same mistakes in the near future. And in Seraphina Xiao's celestial down memory, Blaise Lin doesn't even have his own destined celestial sword, so she wants Blaise Lin to try to forge this sword. This way, he can completely break free from his original fate. Blaise Lin felt both heartache and moved. Although the glamorous master seemed carefree and unrestrained in the mortal world, she always paid attention to my destiny. Blaise Lin made up his mind. With a firm gaze, he expressed that he would surely succeed in the trial of the Sword Tomb tomorrow and forge the celestial sword to live up to Master's years of nurturing. Seeing her beloved disciple looking full of confidence, the cloud of worry on Seraphina Xiao's face disappeared in an instant. Blaise Lin also looked tenderly at the beautiful master's face, seeing that good things were about to happen. Blaise, however, was pushed away by Master. "Didn't you say you only like grace? If that's the case, how dare you be disrespectful to your own master? Moreover, Master raised you since childhood. It's impossible between us." Blaise Lin looked at Master with a smile on his face, admiring his cute appearance. "Master, you are so adorable. It's great that I can be your disciple in this lifetime." Seraphina Xiao, upon hearing these words, felt very happy in her heart but still pretended to remain calm. she left, but not forgetting to remind Blaise Lin that he must attend the Sword Tomb Mystic Realm tomorrow. Blaise Lin quickly made a request to Master upon seeing this. If he forges his life-bound celestial sword, can he be rewarded? The beautiful Master blushed shyly and said, "Let's see how you perform." Watching Master's departing figure, Blaise Lin felt extremely happy in his heart. My master is really adorable. Blaise Lin had lots and lots of dreams that night. Without Master Su and junior sister, they were not there. Only Master was there. The content of this dream was especially pure. In the dream, he embraced the beautiful Master and courageously said those 3 words. Sword Tomb Mystic Realm has been opened. The bad guy senior brother meets the chosen one again. Ethan Yi, the biggest trump card, has actually betrayed and joined forces with Blaise Lin. Today is the day when the Sword Tomb will be opened. All peak grandmasters of the Qinglan sect of Immortality will be present. Blaise Lin felt deeply moved in his heart. He expressed his regrets for arriving late today due to some matters within the sect. He hopes everyone can forgive him. Grandmaster Crimson Cloud, on the other hand, was extremely dissatisfied. Blaise Lin looked at him with contempt. This guy is really both weak and pretentious. In the original work, this Grandmaster Crimson Cloud is nothing but a hypocrite. When Yuan Yi launched a rebellion, this guy was the first to kneel down and surrender, completely losing face. Seeing their beloved disciple being wronged, Seraphina Shao immediately stood up for Blaise Lin to help him save face. At this moment, Yuan Yi stepped in to mediate. Today's main characters are not us, but the younger disciples. In the past, disciples from each sect were chosen by drawing lots to enter the cave to select spiritual or for forging spiritual swords in the furnace on the final level. This rule seems fair, but has many loopholes. Disciples with strong abilities may end up with only leftovers if they have bad luck. Therefore, I propose a new way to play. Yuan Yi pointed to the entrance of the Sword Tomb, specifically the door ring at the top of the giant bronze door. The chief disciples from the 5 peaks sects will jump up and remove the door ring. The one who spends the least time will be the first to enter the Sword Tomb and earn the qualification to select the top-grade spiritual Oregon. Blaise Lin chuckled to himself. According to the original setting, the iron ring on the bronze door of Sword Tomb is forged from Jioi Mountain meteoric iron. The 7 rings form a line and create a powerful and unparalleled demon-sealing prohibition. In the story, the iron ring was eventually pulled off by Ethan Yi and Aurelia Zhu, causing various evil savage beasts sealed inside Sword Tomb to break free. Yuan Yi's true intention is to use the mutated Sword Tomb to trap and kill all the young elite disciples of the Qinglan sect of Immortality, facilitating the invasion of the Qinglan sect by the 8 great dark sects. However, the male protagonist Ethan Yi's destiny defies the heavens. Not only did he advance all the way to the final level, but he also picked up the second, golden finger, of his life. The cultivation couple of the Qinglan sect's founder, a pair of great beauties from the celestial realm, Luna Maiden. Blaise Lin is feeling quite troubled. Should he stop Yuan Yi's conspiracy or not? If he confronts Yuan Yi directly, it might alert the enemy. Seraphina Shao looks just as serious. In her dream, she only vaguely remembers the Sword Tomb. It seems like something has changed inside, but she doesn't know the specifics. Mia Su only remembers her family's Aurelia. After practicing sword technique with Ethan Yi, they will obtain a great opportunity from the Sub-Wu forging celestial stove deep inside the Sword Tomb and return safely. So Mia Su was the first to volunteer for Aurelia Zhu, the chief disciple of their sect, to compete for this opportunity. She then asked Aurelia Zhu next to her if she was confident. Aurelia Zhu looked confident. Among the younger generation of the Qinglan sect of Immortality, if we are talking about martial arts skills, even compared to senior brother Zheng Qing, I am far behind. The grandmasters of other peaks also expressed their agreement. In the end, representatives from each peak competed against each other in pairs to determine the outcome. Seraphina Shao reminded Blaise Lin of this battle. Be sure to try your best to compete for a spot. Blaise Lin expressed full confidence. For Master and Junior Sisters, I must win this match. At this point, Miyasu teased Yuan E that your family's chief disciple is now a useless person. Why not send the former chief disciple to take their place first? Who would have expected that at this moment? A young voice that sounded like thunder suddenly rang out. And the person who appeared was none other than the seemingly indestructible Ethan. Blaise Lin exclaimed, "Wow, this chosen one's vitality is truly unbelievable. Even after being shattered at the Golden Dance stage, he can still recover. This child must not be allowed to live." Ethan Ye's eyes glinted with a fierce light as he stared firmly at his long-standing enemy. "Blaise Lin, you petty person who stole my opportunity. Next, I will show you what true despair is." Blaise Lin was truly taken aback. Ethan Ye, this kid, turned into a bad guy so quickly. Just then, Eldersher's voice suddenly entered Blaise Lin's mind. Eldersher reminded Blaise Lin that Ethan Ye had willingly fallen into the demon Dao and urged Blaise Lin to intervene and stop Ethan Ye. He finally understood now. You, Blaise Lin, are the one and only chosen one in this world. The most important thing is to make sure Ethan Ye doesn't. Let him find that mighty being of the upper realm and worship her as his mentor. At this moment, Blaise Lin couldn't have imagined that Ethan Ye's biggest trump card had actually betrayed him. Eldest brother is really handsome and warm-hearted. He not only uses awesome body techniques, but also effortlessly removes the demon-suppressing ring. He also purposely picked a sky heart flower for Master. And just now, the previously arrogant Ethan Ye. The next second, he was suddenly startled by the appearance of Yuan Jiang. After receiving approval from all the grandmasters at the peaks. The first group is the competition between the chief disciples of Phoenix Song Peak and Celestial One Peak. Aurelia Zhu stepped on the Big Dipper. Her figure was as fast as lightning, rising dozens of zhang into the air in the blink of an eye. Just as Aurelia Zhu reached out her jade hand, she instantly took down the demon-suppressing ring with a bang. The entire audience of disciples were shocked by this. She truly lives up to being the true master of the sect. She is the most outstanding genius of Qinglan's sect of immortality in the past century. Aurelia Zhu paid no attention to the surrounding praise. Instead, she exchanged pleasantries with Blaise Lin. The three junior sisters standing nearby looked somewhat worried. Blaise Lin smiled, indicating that he never fights a battle unless he is sure of winning. Suddenly, the beauty master appeared in front of Blaise Lin. To prevent him from feeling too much pressure, she cheered him on from the side. "Just give it your best shot. You won the Five Peaks Martial Gathering and gained the recognition of the great martial true lord. You're already the leader among the younger generation. You can handle this kind of small competition with ease." Blaise Lin is naturally full of confidence. After awakening at the Five Peaks Martial Gathering, he stayed up all night and fully mastered all the essence of the cultivation techniques, including an impressive active body technique called Intoxicated Immortal's Moonlit Stroll. Blaise Lin's eyes were sharp as he took a step forward. His figure was like a bolt of lightning flying toward the sky. The whole process happened in just a fleeting moment. It was incredibly fast. Before everyone had a chance to react, the highly acclaimed eldest brother of the Celestial One Peak was already holding onto the iron ring and descending from the top of the bronze gate, sparks and lightning accompanying his path back. The entire crowd of disciples watched in astonishment. Chief Disciple Lin's speed is simply too fast. Ethan Ye's face was completely dark, feeling extremely dissatisfied. Once again, he was deceived by that despicable Blaise Lin. After finding the important figure from the celestial realm in the Sword Tomb Mystic Realm this time, he is determined to make him take action and completely eliminate this person. Seraphina Xiao ran towards Blaise Lin with a happy face. She did not expect that Blaise Lin would have such thunder element skills. Blaise Lin did not answer her question. Instead, he took out a pink flower and gave it to her, looking at the sky heart flower hand-picked by the beloved disciple. Seraphina's little face turned slightly red. She felt extremely happy in her heart. And the competition between Blaise Lin and Aurelia Zhu. As expected, Blaise Lin emerged victorious. Celestial Yuan Peak thus gained priority access to the Sword Tomb. Next up is the showdown between Dragonhead Peak Chief Disciple Zheng Su and Cloud Drift Peak Chief Disciple Ethan Yi. Just as Zheng Su was about to step forward, he was stopped by Ethan Yi beside him. Ethan Yi, with a pretentious demeanor, suggested that it would be better for him to showcase his skills first. Perhaps there would be no need for Senior Brother Su to take the stage after that. Zheng Su looked displeased. This Ethan Yi is simply outrageous. Seeing his own disciple being insulted. The sect leader Purple Cloud True Master was found in the first time. Yuan Yi Old Taoist asked him to restrain Ethan Yi's words and actions. Afterwards, he came to the side of his beloved disciple, asking Zheng Su about his confidence in winning against Ethan Yi in this martial arts competition. Despite Zheng Su being a genius of the cultivation sect, he ultimately cannot compare to Ethan Yi, who is the chosen one. Purple Cloud True Master sighed deeply, and decided to give up his priority to enter the Sword Tomb. As soon as these words were spoken, Ethan Yi and Yuan Yi burst into laughter recklessly. Their joy lasted for only 2.5 seconds. Suddenly, a voice rang out. I, Yuan Jiang, have not set foot in the mortal world for 60 years. Did you really think that Dragonhead Peak was unguarded? Seeing Yuan Jiang approaching unscathed with his sword, Blaise Lin also felt a sense of relief. He took the initiative to greet him. Yuan Jiang instantly appeared in front of Ethan Yi. His eyes fixed on Ethan Yi, saying, Junior Brother Yi,